It's Fernando Ruiz Art. Hi everybody, thanks for tuning in. And today we're going to talk about probably one of the most requested topics of all, which is foreshortening, or should I say THOR-Shortening. Okay, if you haven't clicked away, and I use the THOR-Shortening pun because I will be drawing Marvel Comics' The Mighty Thor for our foreshortening exercise here. And the reason I'm picking Thor is because he's got that hammer. Okay, if you notice how I jumped in, really reducing the figure to ovals, basic shapes, which we've talked about before. But notice in the arm, and this is where a lot of the foreshortening is going to happen. And I'm going to lay down the hammer. Okay, and the head of the hammer is going to be aiming at us. It's going to be really big here, because I want it to look like it is coming at us. So I've got the hammer, those beveled sides to the hammer, and the underside of the hammer, which is probably going to get blacked out, so with shadow, so that it looks like it's under it. And then the grip of the hammer, the handle of the hammer, whatever that's called, that's going to be underneath there. And I want Thor to be gripping that. So what we're going to be seeing here are Thor's fingers kind of peeking around with his thumb, and maybe the very bottom of the handle might be peeking around. So it looks like that is coming at us. And if I wanted to make it come at us a little bit more, I can blow up the head of the hammer a little bit more too. Okay, so now, as per all of my figure drawing, and I've shown this often before, I do still, even though I'm foreshortening, I still want to jump all over the body. I don't want to get too tied up in doing any one part, because by jumping around, I will be keeping my eye on the entirety of the figure. Now, with this arm coming at us, I'm going to have the other arm telescoping away, going away from us. So what I'm going to do is pretty much what I did here, but I'm going to do it in reverse. So I'm going to layer those parts, those segments of the arm, and I'm going to make them telescope away, get smaller. And I'm overlapping them. So I've got the shoulder, the deltoids, the upper arm, the lower arm, and then he will have a closed fist at the end, and I could tweak that a little bit better. I want to get to his lower body. I want to tighten up the head first, and maybe start to indicate some of Thor's golden locks billowing all around him. And Thor always has a very dramatic cape, so I want that to be peeking around too. And I'm drawing a classic Thor here. I'm drawing the classic comic book Jack Kirby Thor, with the classic black outfit with the dis on it. The modern tendency with Thor, at least from what I see, is to kind of make him look more Viking-y, in the interest of accuracy, I guess. But my feeling is we're dealing with Norse gods, we're dealing with legends, and we're dealing with comics, so who the hell cares about accuracy? I want a Thor that looks cool. My Thor doesn't need to look like something that was inspired by Vikings on the History Channel. And I also don't need to show off any expertise in Vikingry. I just want a cool looking superhero. And to me, that's where my interest in Thor lies. And I know I guess I'm in the minority given the directions that Thor has been taken in his life. But for me, my interest in Thor has always been in Thor as the superhero. I like Thor who fights the absorbing man and the radioactive man. I like Thor fighting the Asgardian stuff too. Ice giants and trolls and dragons and Midgard serpents and things like that, and of course Loki and Hela and all that. But there's an old saying, and I think I've heard it attributed to the great writer Len Wein. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. But the saying goes, and I'm paraphrasing here, that you can have all the stories of Thor in Asgard that you like, but every now and then he's got to come back to Earth and take his lumps from the absorbing man. And I am totally on board with that philosophy. Because like I said, I like Thor as the superhero. Thor as the 24-hour homeless Norse guy, that is not as interesting to me. Or Thor as the super Viking, also not as interesting. I like the Thor of the Marvel Universe. And also, and I know I must be in the real minority here, but I also prefer Thor, as I do most of my superheroes, with a secret identity. I miss the Donald Blake age of Thor. And I honestly, as I said, I prefer most of my superheroes with their secret identity. Because without the secret identity, number one, they just become superheroes 24 hours a day. But also, two, they lose that connection to humanity. And actually, I'm really indulging here as I talk, because I'm going in there doing much more on Thor's face than I intended to at this point, because I still need to give Thor a whole lower half. So I'm going to just jump down here, and I'm going to round out Thor's torso and his belt line, which is going to be very rounded from this angle, and his lower extremities, which are going to be smaller. And if Thor's right arm is coming at us, what I want to do is pull his left leg forward. That's the formula in foreshortening. If your figure is reaching forward with one arm, he should be stepping forward with the opposite leg. And that will just make your figure look more dynamic, but also more balanced. That way, when you see him reaching forward and stepping forward with the leg and arm of the same size, of the same side, he's going to be off balance. He'll probably fall. So, and he's got those big knee pad things, which I will gladly give him. And the other leg I want really pulled back more. So I'm really going to be telescoping this leg back. So even he's going to get a shorter upper leg, smaller knee thing, and then a really short lower leg. So that whole Thor is going back. Now, he also has, actually I want to pull back this shoulder thing, because I want to curve it. also want the bicep to be peeking out, I should say. And now notice as I go back into this arm, I'm going to be defining my anatomy a little bit more. Oh, got to give Thor his discs, and I'm angling them with the angle of his torso. So he's got 6 total of these discs, 4 above the belt line, and then 2 in the pelvic region, and those will be really elliptical. And let's see, let's go down here. And I always like the straps on his boots. That's as Viking-y, as barbaric as I like to go with my Thor. Now Thor also has probably one of the most dramatic capes in comics. So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna really curve that around. And well, Thor also has some of the most dramatic hair in comics. I want the hair to be billowing out because he's the god of thunder. And the cape is coming down. Let's look at the bottom of the cape. And Thor is coming together. Thor is pretty much in place. He's sketchy, so of course I'm going to be tightening him up more. But I hope the foreshortening, or what I attempted to do with the foreshortening, I hope that's coming through. I hope he is looking more three-dimensional. Tightening up his hammer a little bit. Again, pushing the darks on the underside of his hammer. I'm going to define his fingers that are wrapping around that handle. That handle is still peeking out. And then we have the forearm, the upper arm going into the shoulder. The upper part of Thor's outfit, of course, this is classically black. Might leave a couple of little highlights underneath the bicep. But all this, I want to keep it simple, so I'm not gonna leave too many highlights open. Using a lot of black to hide a lot of stuff here. And I may, even after the video's over, I may go in and tighten up Thor a little bit more. And I will, I'll certainly post the finished results. I may end up coloring Thor, because I enjoy drawing Thor. He's a lot of fun. But I may color him, ink him, color him, and then post them on Instagram and Facebook. I'm Fernando Ruiz. Everybody on Instagram, if you haven't, if you're not following me, please follow me, because I do announce new videos on Instagram quite often. So make sure, and on Facebook, I'm just Fernando Ruiz, and you could find me there too, and I post a lot of stuff there too. So there's Thor. What do you think? Is he mighty? Is he godlike? Or is he not cool? Let me know what you think. Let me know if this foreshortening works for you. Let me know if you have any questions, comments on Thor. Let me know in the comments section below. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, please click like, subscribe if you haven't, and don't be afraid to share. And above all else, keep drawing, my friends. Keep drawing. Yay, verily. And I'll see you guys next time.